Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Ecoffee with Experts. I'm your host, Matt Fraser. And on today's show, I have with me a very special guest, Dave Jones. Dave is the founder and CEO of M is Good, a Christian digital marketing and web design agency headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina. He is also a sports consultant who coaches CEOs, executives, professional athletes to help achieve their vision by executing and developing mental skills training and enhancing thought blocking techniques. He also helps them with their strategy, execution, and communication skills, as well as managing gaps between employees and management. Dave is the author of Vision Wins, 7 Strategies for Mental Toughness in Life and Sports, and he served 4 years in the United States Air Force. He and his wife, Laura, currently reside in Raleigh, North Carolina, and together they have 2 young boys. Dave, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
So, Dave, you seem to have created quite a interesting means of helping people to develop their personal development skills, business development skills, develop a vision for their life, which, led you to write the book, Vision Wins, 7 Strategies for Mental Toughness in Life and Sports. Why did you decide to write the book?
It's a great question. I've been really wanting to write a book for probably 5 or 6 years. I've been on several projects where I've been the lead agent on a book, on a couple of books. And so I don't really have a publishing background at all. I have a hockey background. And so it's just surrounded around a really kind of a mentor of mine by the name of Bruce Barber. And Bruce and I did several projects, and I just knew I wanted to do a book that was more of a fable than like the 7 strategies, right? Like just pulling a story. And it was really my relationship with Bruce where we had worked on a project together, and I said, hey man, if we ever do a book, I want you to be the editor on it. And so, he was the former president of Thomas Nelson and has written books that have sold more than 50 million copies.
Oh yeah.
Just a really awesome man of God. And so the timing was just right. And, I worked on it for about, I would say probably a good 2 years. I really followed John Gordon's format. If you're familiar with any of his books, but I had an opportunity to host him through an FCA hockey event, and he kind of laid out how to write a book or how he wrote a book. And I just thought that was really interesting. He allowed, he always knows the principles you want to teach. And I have R7, so I knew I wanted to really communicate R7. And so the way he did it is at least what he told me was, he looks for different places in his life where he could have the setting and just praise about that setting and praise about that character. He rolls out all the characters and kind of a mind meister, kind of just rolling it out graphically of, who the players are, builds out the personas and personalities and the location of where it'd be, and just lives his life. Yeah. And so he just builds out that whole plot and character and allows it to sit and praise over it. And then he writes. So it only takes him about a week or 2 to actually write the book. And so I actually followed that same format. It took me about a week to write a book. And, but I had worked on it for a year or so on, laying everything out. And now don't get me wrong. I rewrote it 17 times after my editor, Bruce, got a hold of it, but as far as laying down the initial plot and getting everything down took about a week.
Plus all your life experiences that it probably took to actually be able to compile the content to actually put the book together. I'm assuming you wrote it in a week, but it was probably a 20 years of preparation, I'm assuming, or something like that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, R7 has taken 13 years to really fine tune. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about it now or later. I'm guessing our audience are probably interested to hear about that. That you developed an R7 framework for developing vision. Is that correct?
Yeah. So R7 is the first step is, what is the purpose? Now, if you're a Christian, you're listening out there, your purpose is to glorify the Lord with your talents and your abilities. That's your purpose. So we know what that is. And so from the destiny or purpose, we go from there to vision. What is the vision? And so the checklist for vision, and actually goes through this in the Vision Wins book, but a checklist for your vision is this short, portable, easy to understand, memorable, inspiring statement. That's 7-11 words, no conjunctions.
So these are things that even a business could go through, correct?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have our purpose, then we have our vision. And then from the vision, we're going to build out a strategy. From the strategy, we're going to build the brand. From the brand, we're going to communicate. We're going to pray about those steps, and then we're going to take action. So that's R7. So destiny, vision, strategy, brand, communication, prayer, action. And, you know, in my work with executives with them is good. You know, a lot of times we get to action. Let's go, 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 go. And what R7 does is allows us to slow down, find the tip of the spear in the messaging, understand the vision and the why of we're doing things. And then from there, we can build out the design elements or the communication elements. So, you know, that's kind of the big picture of what R7 is.
Yeah, right on. So what is vision and how does it apply to your life?
Oh man, you're coming out hard, Matt, with all these great questions. This is awesome. So, you know, everybody's got vision. Let's first start there. Everybody's got vision. Now, if you look up, I would say of all the things that I've done in my life, if I would say that I was skilled at anything, it's probably vision in terms of understanding what it is and how we apply it. Like I've really studied this over the years, both biblically and on the secular level. Through Harvard Business Review or Gallup, even in the sports psychology journals, because, you know, I'm big in that as well. But let's first start with there are 8 types of different visions.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So the vision that I like to talk about is actual vision statement. So you can have a thought, you can be driving down the road and go, oh my gosh, I forgot to do that. You know, that's a vision, right? But the vision I like to talk about is a vision statement. It's that view of what am I going to do 7 to 10 years from now?
Yeah.
What is it that's going to motivate me and inspire me? I've worked on some really cool vision statements over the years, and it's really rallied the organization. And it's really put a why behind we do things.
Yeah.
And so uncovering that vision is sometimes harder and sometimes easier for people, just depending on how transparent people are. I like to say that we all have certain things that we deal with. Everybody does. I like to use the acronym FLAP. You know, everybody's got a fear, a lust, an anger, and a pride. And at any given moment, we're dealing with those. So if you're able to cut through some of that and really get to what you really want, what's in your heart. You know, I think a lot of times we go to school, get good grades, get a job, learn a skill, and we think that's going to be our passion. According to Gallup poll, 88% of the U.S. economy is disengaged. We don't like what we're doing.
Wow.
And so the idea of, you know, the world telling you go to school, get grades, get a job, learn a skill is not God's plan. God's plan is more about fulfillment, glorifying him, you know, feeling like a level of self-actualization. That's what I believe. So we feel fulfilled, you know, there's a higher purpose.
Yeah.
We're doing things outside of ourselves, and that usually is very motivating.
You know, one of my favorite quotes, and I actually made my own poster. It's on my wall over here. It's called "Vision is the art of seeing things invisible to others," which is a quote from Jonathan Swift, who was a 17th century Catholic priest.
Okay.
And I just think it's, you know, it is totally, it's a type of vision, you know, for entrepreneurs. I've always seen it that way. Like, you know, sometimes you have, like, you've obviously created this R7 framework that, you know, was invisible to others, yet you've brought these principles into a format that can be used to transform not only people's personal lives, but also their businesses, which is quite neat, if I might add.
Well, thanks. Appreciate that. It's a process, right? It's not a program.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference in that. And it allows us to have a path to where we need to go. And it's very, it relieves a lot of stress, honestly, when I communicate that to other entrepreneurs or people that need to recalibrate. It's like, okay, we've got a process here, let's go.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to swallow or get behind.
Absolutely. What were some of your inspirations for writing this book besides the gentleman that you mentioned earlier? For instance, in some ways, this you're triggering my mind right now. I'm thinking about Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and even Jordan Peterson has a self-authoring tool where he takes people walk through developing a vision and process for their lives. And he doesn't claim to be a person of faith. People ask him if he believes in God or not, and he sometimes doesn't answer the question. But it's just amazing that he's using biblical principles, and yet his book is selling millions of copies all over the world because people. And one of the things he talks about is like, taking on going on a journey and almost taking on what's the word I'm looking for? Taking on responsibility, to give yourself purpose. And vision would probably bring about responsibility, because if you have a vision of something that you want to do, you got to be responsible in order to get it done. So I'm just curious, were there any other authors besides the gentleman that you mentioned that were, influenced you to
put
Seth this together?
Godin, definitely. Seth Godin.
Oh, Seth Godin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start with why. Right, that was a very impactful book for me. I think Patrick Luciani, The Power of Fulfillment, was an influential book for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it difficult for you? You said you did it in a week. That's extraordinary. Was it difficult to stay focused during that week? Did you have to shut the doors and tell everybody to leave you alone?
What adds to it is, I'm running this business, which is, and I'm also getting my doctorate in my third year of my doctorate in sport performance psychology. So I had all the assignments I'm doing. And so I just got up a little earlier. I got up at 4 a.m. and wrote till about 7 every day. And then I'd come home from work and I'd write some more. So, So, I spent probably 6 hours a day. But
6 hours a day writing.
I had all the characters. I had all the settings. I had a plethora of information to pull from. It wasn't just sit down and write. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The foundation was there for you to be able to develop the story. Yeah. So you'd already done the storyboarding and all the things that, people would do, kind of like if you're making a movie or even designing a website. You got to put the blueprint, you got to put the site map together and the content and the graphics. And so that's pretty neat. So what are the most important steps for someone to create a vision for their lives? Is it the R7 framework?
It's certainly helpful. Not everybody has the opportunity to bump into someone like me who can walk them through it. God is powerful. I love Jesus, and God can walk you through that. I think it's harder, but not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Just really, I think everybody has something that they love to do, that they're passionate about, and they would do it for free.
Yeah.
And, I think where we struggle is, we don't make money doing it. I've had one client come in and say, you know what, I just don't make any money doing it. And my response is, but somebody else is.
That's interesting.
In this particular case, it was an actor. I want to be an actor and I don't make any money from it. And I said, well, somebody else is.
Yeah. Tom Cruise is making a ton of money from being an actor.
There's a lot of actors and actresses that are making money. Just because you're not doing it doesn't mean there's no money in it.
Yeah.
So it's letting go of what we've been trained in, or, we've been educating in, and following your passion. Now that takes a lot of faith. And
it does.
If you have a family, right? If you're making $150,000, $200,000 a year and you hate what you do, you got people that depend on you to bring them a paycheck, but you don't like it. We get in a trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golden handcuffs is what I call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, do you think they should be doing more in schools to teach kids how to embrace vision and how to have a goal for their lives? You and I are around the same age, and I don't need to mention how old we are, but but going back to school, it's like they didn't teach us anything. And even these kids nowadays, I encouraged one young man to take an aptitude test. And back in the day, I had to go to a 1-day workshop and plot it out on paper and figure it out. Whereas he got access to it for free through the public library and his library card on their website, and was done in 45 minutes. And it really gave him an idea of some things that he's interested in to be able to pursue kind of the vision of what he wants to do with his life. And it lined up with some of the things that he had already expressed an interest in. It was kind of validating for him. Do you think younger people, to develop that kind of come out of school and say they go to school, and there's people that go to school. I know a guy who's a SEO, and he went to school, and I've heard this many times. He went to school and he became a lawyer, and he's now one of the top SEOs in the world. And I won't name drop right now, but he said, Matt, I would rather chew on glass than be a lawyer again. He just hates it. Yeah. So anyway, for anybody out there, it's Kyle Roof is the guy. Everybody, want to, but outed on Google, or somebody outed him on search engine land for his, he ranked a website with lorem ipsum text using keywords and nothing but on-page SEO for rhinoplasty Dallas or something like that. But anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that, to avoid those mistakes, to tie it back to vision and developing younger people to have tools to develop a vision for life. Do you think that should be in curriculum or something like that?
Look, there's a very strong current out there.
Yeah.
For people to go to school. And, at 18, 17, 18 years old, it's really hard to determine what you want to do with your life.
Oh gosh, is it ever?
School, I'm not knocking school. Look, I'm getting my doctorate in it. Doctorate in sport performance psychology. When you find what you love to do, learning never stops. So it's not about school. School isn't the problem. The problem is being able to be in a space where you can figure out what you love to do. And a lot of times school provides that opportunity for you to take everything that you want to figure out what you want to do, but there's a lot of money involved in you flirting around with everything, so I always recommend take a couple of years off. Oh yeah. Go figure you out, join the military, do something in a trade, go do a sales job, get the door slammed in your face a couple of times, learn some failure, back and go, okay, I want to do marketing. Okay. I want to be a plumber. Okay. I want to do I'm passionate about this, now we'll get educated, because it's not the school. It's not the system, the school system. It's us trying to figure out what has God got for me and what am I called to do? And I think there's probably a stronger current for that too, Matt, of, there's people out there don't want you to glorify the Lord with your talents and abilities.
No, right? That's true.
There's a strong current for that too,
There's that other side. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how negative people can be, where they want to pull people down who are exceeding at something. Just seems like, yeah. So that definitely. So what's the difference between a vision and a mission?
Okay. Yeah, great question. I've explored this area again many, many times with different resources, and I call this question is a cattywampus question. Okay. Because it's not a good or a bad question. It's just cattywampus. The world out there has all different ways of sorting mission and vision. How I have come to organize it, which isn't, probably the most popular way of doing it. But the way I look at it is vision is an image of your future, right? It's way out there. It's something you're never, ever going to accomplish. Okay. So one of the best vision statements ever worked on was a company by the name of Freedom United. They're the largest modern anti-slavery organization in the world. We came up with this vision to end slavery.
Okay.
Okay. So to end slavery that's never going to happen. They're never going to end slavery. Okay.
Yeah.
But the idea of we're going to go end slavery is inspirational. I don't know
Yeah.
that anybody really would push back on that slavery is a good thing, right?
No, it's not.
So
Yeah.
people want to get around that. So the idea is that it's vision is way out there. It's something you're never ever going to accomplish. Mission are the steps to the vision. So you can have 5 to 7 steps to your vision. These are the other way, and Seth Godin would back this up in his book, Start With Why. But vision actually engages the limbic side of the brain. It takes all the motion.
Yeah.
Whereas mission engages the what, where, when, and how. So that's the neocortex side of the brain.
Okay.
So they're very distinct, different statements. There's one vision, multiple mission statements. Also in the Bible, in Habakkuk 2:2 talks about, for the story, but Habakkuk goes on the watchtower and he's really upset. And because in Nineveh, there's a lot of craziness going on. And God says, write the vision on a tablet, make it plain so a runner running by can see it and carry it with them. The vision is a short, portable, easy to understand, memorable, inspiring statement.
Wow.
And I say this a lot too. Like if we were to go back, Matt, and you are a very smart man, I can tell. If I were to go back and ask you, what was Barack Obama's vision? Do you remember what it was?
No idea.
Change, yes, we can. Remember that?
Yeah.
Change.
Yeah.
Do you remember who he ran against?
Nope. Mitt Romney, maybe?
Mitt Romney and John McCain.
And John McCain, yeah.
Yeah. So let's say John McCain. Do you remember John McCain's vision for the country?
No idea.
No. But you sort of remember Barack Obama's, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was.
So that was a short, portable, easy to understand, memorable, inspiring statement. Let's talk about Donald Trump. Do you remember Donald Trump's vision?
Donald Trump's vision was make America great again.
Make America great again. Do you know who he ran against?
No.
First time, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton. He ran the first time. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And what was her vision statement?
I have no idea.
Exactly. So people that run on vision, who have a long statement that you can't remember, right, is something that is not working. The way I also think about it is if you're driving down the highway, and if you're driving down the 401, Matt, right?
Yeah.
You have 401 in Canada.
I've never been on it, but let's just say the Trans-Canada Highway is Highway 1.
Okay. So if you're going down the highway and you see McDonald's next exit, that's easy, right?
It is,
short, portable, easy to understand, memorable statement. Not really inspiring. Yeah. But if you have a billboard with lots of words on it and paragraphs on it, you can't read it and you're flying by 60 miles per hour, nobody cares.
Oh, yeah. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So this is where vision comes in. It's that short, portable, easy to understand, memorable, inspiring statement. And then your mission statements support your vision.
Yeah.
Right? Of the what, where, when, and how. Vision answers the why. Mission answers the what, where, when, and how.
So is that kind of like the left brain, right brain sort of deal? What you're talking about, the right brain, your creative side of things, and the left brain. I mean, I know you explain it scientifically, but for people to, is that even a thing, by the way?
It's more like the limbic. It's not left or right, but it's limbic engages emotion, and the why engages emotion. The neocortex is really about what, where, when, and how. Okay. So your neocortex is more like your mission statements.
The logical side and
the logical side, and the emotional side is your why.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does you're talking about vision, and other people would talk about like I learned from Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham developing a unique selling proposition. And would you say that having a unique vision is similar to having a unique selling proposition, or is it a part of it?
It's definitely part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've sort of taken the USP and the features and benefits, and I've flipped them on their heads a little bit over the last couple of years, because I think there's definitely can be confusion in that.
Okay.
That's kind of the old way of thinking. I would
Okay.
suggest, whereas, kind of the newer way of thinking of it is we want to engage our client, our donor, our first time guests with a why change conversation.
Yeah.
Whenever you get in a commoditized conversation, you stand
Mm.
in a long line of a bunch of other products, goods, and services.
Yeah.
So a lot of times features and benefits and USPs, they're all in
Mm.
that long line,
That's
that
true.
long list of commodities. And so I like to really look at the vision and the narrative, find the hero, find the villain in
Wow.
that narrative, and then position the why change conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It made me think, like, developing. How long does it take you to typically go through this, or does it vary with a business or
R7, it takes 10
organization?
weeks. It takes 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
I've done it and that's meeting. The first session is 3 hours with me, and then it's 30 to 45 minutes each week after that. We can double down on weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not really a process where like we're gonna go dig a hole and we get a bunch of shovels and a bunch of people on these shovels and we dig from a bigger hole. This is
Mm-hmm.
more about like thinking, processing, praying, going through, understanding what the decisions are, and thinking through the direction, praying through the
Yeah.
direction. So
Yeah.
it needs to breathe a little bit
No, I hear you.
before we just go. Yeah.
The concept of the hero's journey and storytelling. I heard you mention the hero and the villain and the journey and things like that. Was that an influence in helping you to develop this framework?
That came later. And
Came
that's
later.
really just because of the massive amount of impressions we get hit with every day.
Oh,
So we
okay.
gotta simplify it down for people like me, honestly, that just can't have 5 options. Give me one villain, give me
Yeah.
one hero, and I'll decide if I want to fight that fight for that villain, for the
Yeah,
evil.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I imagine this like affects the whole process of creating content, creating stories, connecting with customers. I think frankly, I think it's a lot of things people, like, some people just start a business, I just want to be a plumber, or start a business without a vision, but they just want to do it without thinking. Like, I know lots of people I've talked to that there's even Fortune 500 companies that don't necessarily know what their vision is or who they're trying to target.
Right.
and to relate it, like a lot of people who listen to our show know that I used to be the marketing director of a car dealership, and this OEM manufacturer didn't even have personas built for who they were targeting with each specific vehicle. And I mean, if you ask me what their vision is, I worked for that company for, at least 5 years, and I don't even know what their vision is to this day. So anyway, I think it's really powerful how people can, what the framework you've created and how it, do you have any examples of besides the Freedom United example of creating a vision? Were there any businesses that you worked with, just out of curiosity, that have developed a vision and gone through this R7 process that you can share a story about?
Sure. I've got a ton of them.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of which one I can think of here.
Yeah. Or which one comes off the top of your mind?
I think there's another one that that I really enjoyed was equestrian therapy. It was a ministry that came to us.
Oh, yeah.
And they do equestrian therapy. And so they wanted hope. Their whole message was hope and healing.
Yeah.
Providing hope and healing. And it was really interesting because I had a board, and I love hope and healing too. So basically, they rescue horses, bring in kids to troubled teens, kids that are dealing with whatever issue, and they tell the story of the horse, and there's therapeutic. There's therapy in the message of the rescued horse, and through that process, we were able to build the vision, mission, core values, but providing hope and healing every day.
Wow.
And so that's what we came up with. And they were, within months, they were super successful in getting a financing for a farm.
Wow.
And it was really,
That's pretty neat.
They got stuck on the everyday. I was kind of stuck on the conjunction, but they were stuck on the everyday. And when you talk about everyday, part of the checklist of a vision statement is it's got to be bigger than yourself. You got to have the God factor. You know,
Yeah.
and slavery is pretty big.
Yeah.
If it's not big, I had a pastor once tell me, "Man, my vision's big," and I said, "Well, if it's not, it's a mission statement."
Yeah. Yeah,
know?
exactly.
If vision has to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. I mean, thinking about the Wright brothers who had the vision to fly, you know, or what's his name? Sorry, what's it? Ford. I was just watching the other day a story about Henry Ford and his tractors. And he had the vision that he was going to, he even phoned up the newspapers and he told them he was going to sell a certain amount of tractors within the next year. That was absolutely ridiculous number to reach. And he crushed it. And he didn't even know how he was going to do it when but you know, he obviously had some kind of vision and he you know, I would say he was someone who was able to see things that were invisible to others in regards to inventing things and things like that. But, you know, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to us about this. It's been very enlightening for me, and I've gotten a lot out of it. And what would be one takeaway you'd want listeners to get from this episode?
You know, I want to encourage anybody who's listening that, you know, we've talked a lot about vision today, and it's really not that complicated.
Yeah.
You know, that God's got a vision in your heart, and, you know, it doesn't have to be this big lifelong process. If you have something that's in your spirit that you feel is like in your gut that you got to go do, and that's probably part of your vision.
Yeah.
And although it may be difficult to let go of some things, personally and professionally, like living a life filled with passion and fulfillment is a pretty awesome place to do. And you don't have to quit everything to embrace your vision. You know, you can slowly embrace it, but to act, to do something about it, I would just encourage you to whoever's listening, just encourage them to act on their vision of what's in their spirit. You got to make sure it's healthy, you know, that it's going to empower or inspire somebody. You know, you don't want to do something that's going to create violence. You know, there's some people that maybe listen to have that kind of like, I would never advise that, you know, kind of thing. But, you know, if it's healthy and it's inspirational for people and empowering, you know, to take a step.
That's awesome. Yeah, thanks very much for sharing that. And if people want to connect with you online, how can they go about doing so?
Probably through Vision Wins. If you just Google it, there's a landing page there and a contact.
Oh, Vision Wins?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure. Are you on LinkedIn as well?
I am, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So
yeah, probably LinkedIn is probably just as good.
Just as good. Okay. I'll make sure to put those in the show notes so that people can access it. And again, I want to thank you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you,
man.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Yeah. Bye-bye.